Super Lightweight Championship of the World. Introducing to you first the challenger on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing trunks representing the flag of his home country, yellow, blue, and red. Hailing from Falcon, Venezuela, he weighed in at 139.5 pounds. With a record of 18 wins, 3 losses, he has 14 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, making his first attempt at a world title, please welcome the challenger, ranked the WBA number 3 contender, introducing Elio Ortiz. And his opponent across the ring on my right, fighting out of the red corner, is the defending world champion, wearing black trunks, fighting out of our nation's capital of Washington, D.C., by way of Tacoma Park, Maryland. He weighed in the same as his opponent, 139.5 pounds. His record stands at 45 wins, 2 losses, with 29 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the defending WBA Super Lightweight Champion of the world, known as the Little Big Man, introducing Sharmba Mitchell. Once again, a referee in charge is Richard Steele, now to give instructions, 12 rounds of championship boxing schedule.
Okay, I spoke to both fighters in the dressing room. I'm cautioning you again. Yes, obey my commands at all times. Shake hands and good luck.
Another world title fight for Richard Steele in his long and colorful career as a Nevada referee. These two fighters were expected to meet each other in September, and Sharmba Mitchell suffered an injury which postponed the fight, put it forward to this month. As a result of that, Ortiz has been inactive since March, by far the longest inactive stretch of his 6-year pro career. Ortiz kneeling and saying a final prayer prior to the beginning of combat. Round 1 begins.
Begins with a left hand notice from Mitchell.
Straight left hand, Ortiz on the seat of his pants. Sharmba Mitchell has warmed up pretty well, apparently, despite the problem with the gloves.
Now you're fighting a southpaw, and Ortiz said earlier he's not going to make any adjustment. He's going to fight a southpaw the same way you would any other fighter.
Sharmba Mitchell working to the body. A couple of hard shots underneath. Ortiz weathered that assault and now tries to get himself back into the flow. Knockdown 15 seconds into the bout for Sharmba Mitchell.
Mitchell was smart. He didn't move in for the kill because he understand that knockdown was a flash knockdown. In other words, Mitchell, Ortiz ran right into it.
Don't hold him. Break.
Yeah, so Mitchell didn't exactly jump all over him and expect to finish, because he's a veteran fighter and knew full well that it was a flash knockdown, not the crushing variety.
When you knock a guy down, George, is the fighter taught to watch him, look at his eyes, see really how hurt he is or whether he's hurt at all?
Well, you really want to go on instincts. You just can't teach a guy about finishing a guy. It has to be total instinct. Some guys are boxers. That's why when you see a good boxer knock a guy down, he doesn't do anything because he doesn't have the instincts to do anything.
But I mean, do you study him? Do you want to see how hurt he is or whether it was a flash knockdown?
Things are happening kind of quick to be studying things, especially that round. You may do it over 3 or 4 rounds.
Cut your way out.
But it has to be instincts.
Break.
How ambitious is Sharmba Mitchell? How high an opinion does he have of his own athletic capabilities? Mitchell, who played only 1 year of high school football, very seriously states to us that when he finishes his boxing career, he wants to go back to football and become a National Football League cornerback.
Right.
Holding.
Okay.
Good body punches by Ortiz.
Mitchell. Oh, by Ortiz.
Yeah, he's getting good body shots in all the time.
But then he had bad balance as he backed away from Mitchell.
That's what you want to do when you get in the ring with a quicker, much faster guy. Get those body punches inside.
Great left hand lands again for Mitchell, driving Ortiz back into the ropes. Mitchell with a quick right hook. Solid straight left hand. Ortiz fighting back, but taking some very hard punches upstairs.
Mitchell was shook with a good one that time himself. So you never not be a fool and rush in when you're fighting a solid guy who can punch also.
I like a champion who comes out and wants to let the challenger know right away he's in with something he hasn't been in with before.
He's done that already. And then he's getting a little foolish trying to look for something that came to him just a minute ago.
You gotta love the quickness, the fluidity, the sheer athletic skill of Sharmba Mitchell, and it's fun to see a southpaw who can punch. And when we go to Ortiz's corner where they speak Spanish, our interpreter is Freddie Aldana.
You have to start moving. You need to start hitting him. Is he hitting? Is he hurting you? Is he hurting you? You have to start hitting him a little harder. Start going to the body. You gotta start using your combinations. Start hitting your left. Use your left.
Let's take a look at these knockdowns and how quickly they came and what he used. There was a jab followed by a straight left hand. And later in the round, when he sensed that his opponent was a little bit hurt, he ran after him with vengeance to see if he could hurt him a little more.
So the one knockdown in round one for Sharmba Mitchell. By CompuBox numbers, he landed 23 of 61 punches to 11 of 31 for Ortiz. All in all, Ortiz showed courage and resiliency in handling the first round as well as he did, given the fast start by Mitchell.
And Mitchell, heroes. His heroes are Muhammad Ali, Hector Camacho of all people. Believe me, he intended to let this fight go on and on and on.
You think he likes this as a stage? He doesn't want to get off there.
Well, there you go. Look at the trunks. Trills.
He didn't act that way in the first round, though,
Yeah,
George. He looked like he wanted to go home in a hurry.
If you're going to dance all night, just step on your partner's foot.
The trunks show the Camacho influence. He does say that he liked Camacho a lot better earlier in his career when he committed to his punches as opposed to the slap and run fighter that Camacho became later on.
I think you just pushed him into saying that.
I've been more generous to other fighters, that's for sure.
When they like him all the way. He has good balance. He slides in, keeping his eye on his opponent. Mitchell does.
Ortiz trying to get to Mitchell's body, but Ortiz reaching when he punches and leaving himself open to Mitchell's quick inside counters. Sharmba goes back to the body to try to set up another big one upstairs, and then misses with the right hook as he backs away.
But Ortiz was able to land a good left hook, right hand under the side of Mitchell. Those body punches can pay off if this fight is extended.
Step back.
Mitchell backhanded Ortiz as he came in.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of that because of the southpaw.
You can be penalized for backhanding.
Yeah, you really can, but it happens like that. Now it looked like a little switch. Mitchell is doing a good job of boxing, but he better beware that he does not have the reach advantage here. When he jumps his punches in and jump out, does well.
Break.
Been a lot of punching below the belt here by Ortiz.
And while it may look to most eyes as though Mitchell has thoroughly dominated the first two rounds, as the second stanza comes to a close, you can see that Mitchell is showing a little bit more respect to Ortiz. He's felt some of the body punches, and he's decided to take his time.
His instincts with those kind of trunks are
Your hands are free.
stay out of the fight. Stay out of it. He's done a good job this round anyway.
You're saying clothes makes the man, right?
No better said. Clothes make the
Clothes make the man. Let's check in with reporter Nick Charles.
Well, we don't, of course, at this point know which heavyweight champion will leave this arena with all the belts in his possession, but we can tell you who arrived here at the Thomas Mack Center first. You're looking at him. The WBA and IBF heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield arrived around 15 minutes ago. There are a few people here in the Lennox Lewis dressing room waiting for his arrival. He was due at 6:30 Pacific time. So far, no sign of him, but the good bet is he will show, JB.
All right.
With the traffic around here this weekend, I'm not surprised that he's late.
Yes, the giant Comdex convention, largest convention of the year, begins Monday here in Las Vegas. And for the last 2 nights at the hotel where we happen to be staying, Ricky Martin has been performing. So the town is jammed.
Comdex being a giant computer convention.
CompuBox numbers through the first 2 rounds show Sharmba Mitchell throwing 111 and landing 40. Ortiz is in the fight at 24 out of 84. Mitchell with a 24-21 edge in power shots. And just in case you wonder over the years about CompuBox numbers and what they mean, when we say power shots, that means anything that's not a jab, an uppercut, a hook, a cross, a body punch. Those are power shots. They don't have to be bombs. The word power doesn't refer to the intensity with which they land, simply the nature of the thrown punch.
Step back.
Ortiz is
Watch your head. Watch your head.
willing to take
Let's go.
1, 2 to get in 1. So when Mitchell gets in a good sharp shot, he said, okay, I'll take 2, but I'm going to get you 1.
Now this is becoming more and more part of the action, George. Ortiz backing up against the ropes, squaring his shoulders as he moves against the ropes, and Mitchell going forward to attack him. Who has the advantage when they're in that position?
Well, it helps the bigger guy, because you turn this into a wrestling match, the bigger, taller guy is going to get the advantage. He has the advantage. The smaller guy is going to get tired. You want to stay out of a fight if you're depending on your speed and quickness. Stay out of the hugging and the grabbing.
So even though Ortiz has fallen behind on the scorecards in the first 2 rounds, he's gradually working his way up to a higher competitive level as he makes it through minute after minute with Sharmba.
Yeah, about the 4th round, if it goes that far, you'll see those guys standing in the middle of the ring. No one's moving, and Ortiz will have his chance to really take the advantage because of the pushing and the holding and the backing into the ropes. Good body punch by Mitchell.
Elio Ortiz in his first trip to the United States, first title shot. Takes another hard left hand from Mitchell and backs up into the ropes again.
Mitchell is also smart here. He's thrown a good couple of combinations to the body of Ortiz. So he's not just going for the upstairs power shots. He's going for the body, take the wind out of your punches.
And more when Mitchell goes in to attack Ortiz against the ropes, he goes in, throws a combination, and goes back out rather than to stay there with him, George.
And a couple of the shots are always to the side and then on the body. So if this fight goes on, his energy may be good.
And meanwhile, Ortiz, more and more frequently, is able to land counter shots, one at a time, but landing counter shots that might slow Mitchell down a little bit. Decent fight, getting better after 3.
You look like Big Buckets, Ricky. Working beautiful, baby. Working beautiful. You're working beautiful, baby. Stay like you're working. You're working real beautiful. Only time you do when you stand in front of it. You have to keep your head moving, baby. You do fainting. Get fainting, your shots are dead. When you're fainting, baby, you ain't got to worry about nothing. You're too busy trying to cover up.
You can't be bending down. You're bending down too much. When he gets close to you, you got to use your uppercut. Make sure when he gets close to you, throw your uppercut. You got to start using your combinations. You got to start using your uppercut. Right when he gets close to you, use your uppercut.
There's a bit of a butt, accidental, no harm, no damage, no foul.
Harold Letterman, how did you have it scored through the first three?
Jim, 3-0, 30-26, Sharmba Mitchell. You got to give him an extra point for the knockdown, Jim, in round one. And Jim, one thing I want to point out, one of the points that we score boxing on is defense. And look at Sharmba Mitchell move that head. Very often, Elio Ortiz swings at him and he misses him. You got to give Sharmba Mitchell credit for good defense because he keeps that head moving. Just there, you saw Ortiz throw a left hook. Sharmba moved his head, got right under it. Good defense by Sharmba.
Good lead right hands. Whenever you're fighting a southpaw, if you throw your right hand, most of the time you're going to connect. And why these guys hold them back, I don't know.
And there's another lead right hand by Ortiz.
Ortiz should just be throwing little right hands. Sooner or later, Mitchell will run into one or two of them.
And Sharmba, with the head movement that Harold Letterman mentioning, slips the jab, comes back with a right hand and a left. And now a three-punch combination, and Mitchell with another burst of energy here in round number 4.
There's another body punch below the belt.
Punching it out there.
Mitchell complained briefly about a punch below the belt.
The belt, which could be a factor in the heavyweight championship bout later on this evening, as there was considerable discussion after the fight in Madison Square Garden about Lennox Lewis's protector and how high up it was on his body. Surely the Holyfield people will be asking that it be lower tonight.
Oh.
Good little right hand inside by Ortiz. And now Ortiz switching into a southpaw stance, as he's done on a couple of previous occasions, perhaps to engage Mitchell more toe-to-toe.
Yeah, it's getting to be that time in the boxing match where those body punches will come into play here. Mitchell will slow down a little bit. Now he's got hit in the chest. Mitchell also has power.
Pull your arm back. Pull it back.
Seldom you see a guy with that kind of speed and accuracy.
Come on, work and get out of there.
With power also. Mitchell has the package.
Back in the southpaw stance is Ortiz. As they trade punches, Mitchell breaking out the power a little bit.
Come on, get up, get up.
A slippage.
Let's go.
No knockdown. Mitchell takes a right to give a left. And now swings wildly with a right hand and just misses on the big haymaker.
Break. Come on. Just stay up. Just stay up.
Round 4 coming down the stretch. They stand toe-to-toe and trade, just as George Foreman told you a couple of rounds ago would be happening by the 4th or 5th round.
Yes, because of the good body punching by Ortiz, and at the same time, Mitchell is interested in power shots.
Meanwhile, Nick Charles is still prowling in the area of Evander Holyfield's dressing room. Let's go back to him right now.
Okay, Jim, I'm with Don Turner, head trainer for Evander Holyfield. Don, the protective cup issue. Lennox Lewis, you said, had it around his breast last time. What have you done about correcting that and making sure it won't happen in this fight?
Well, the commissioner assured us that it won't happen because that's a training cup for the gym. You know, they sell them at ringside. You know, he put it on. You know, this time we'll know before he leave out of the dressing room whether he has it.
Very quickly, you came here first, but you didn't bring everything with you. You sent somebody back for the hand pads, hand mitts?
Well, I don't know. It's no big deal. You know, we can always improvise, but they just wasn't here. So.
Finally, Don, in terms of Evander's been here half an hour, are you surprised that Lennox Lewis hasn't showed up yet? And are you concerned that maybe he won't?
Well, he said that he wouldn't fight if he didn't fight in the gloves he wanted. But he'll show up. You know, he'll show up. Don't worry about that because he want to save face.
Hey, Jim, back to you.
All right, thank you, Nick. Neither fighter gets to fight in the gloves he wanted. We'll tell you more about that later on. Meanwhile, as we return to the 140-pound championship fight between Sharmba Mitchell in the black trunks and Elio Ortiz in the orange, it is Mitchell who appears to have a working lead going into round 5.
Ortiz corner told him to start throwing the uppercut when Mitchell gets close, and he threw the first one just then.
But he wasn't close.
Yeah,
lead right hand lands for Ortiz.
You're right, he wasn't close, but he did follow instructions. They can tell you what to do, but you got to do it.
Ortiz back in his conventional stance. Didn't look all that uncomfortable when he lined up as a southpaw and landed a couple of straight right hands.
Mitchell is taking the charge with his jab, right jab. And you can't do anything else. You can jab. You can even jab when you're moving out of the way. Good jab this time by Mitchell. Now Ortiz is starting to jab along with him in the southpaw position. Whenever he does, Mitchell stops.
Ortiz back in that southpaw stance again, now switching conventional, now back to southpaw. Mitchell just watching and waiting, popping Ortiz with the jab there. Now another straight left hand. Good left cross by Sharmba Mitchell. And his little quick right hook lands as well.
Ortiz has got to understand, if you're going to switch into that southpaw position, you got to fight. You just can't be sitting there doing what you don't do naturally.
Two good left hands by Ortiz in the last 20 seconds.
And a straight right and a left by Sharmba.
When you want to rest, you got to go back into your orthodox.
Ooh, hard left and a jarring right hand by Mitchell, and Mitchell, sensing he has Ortiz going a little bit, chases him to the ropes and then backs away as Ortiz tries to land the big counter. Ortiz showing you that he has a chin. After going down in round one, he has taken Mitchell's power for the next 4 rounds.
You warming up, man. You looking beautiful. There's your show. He ain't gonna be coming when you punch like that. But you got to pick him apart. Don't rush yourself. It's there. You working beautiful. Take your time and stay relaxed. Use that jab like you've been doing up and down with it, baby. You working beautiful. It's your show, baby. It's your show. You working beautiful, sweetheart.
Dr. Flip Hermansky is in the corner of Ortiz.
Don't stand there to the left. Don't stand there to the left. Don't stand in southpaw. You got to go back to your conventional stance.
Okay?
Don't follow him. You got to stand in your stance. Just remember one thing. He's more tired than you are. You got to start using your right hand. You got to use your jab. Don't let him put his foot in. Go out and beat him up.
Those are good instructions, George. Go out and beat him up.
But he did tell him right. Don't stay around in that southpaw position unless you're doing something.
Exactly as you said, George. Manny Shaka urging Ortiz to keep moving when he gets into that southpaw stance.
It's best to just stay in the position and just go offense.
Yeah, throw punches. That's usually the smart thing to do, right?
See, he follows him around without doing anything, and Mitchell, because of his quickness, hits him anytime he wants. If you're going to follow a man, throw punches. Throw punches. Doesn't have to be hard punches, just a jab here, a right hand there. Keep the guy defending himself.
Harley, pull your arm back. Pull your arm back. It's work. Protect yourself.
And Hermansky spent time in Ortiz's corner between rounds, as Larry pointed out, because of the swelling under the left eye of Elio Ortiz.
Time, go to corner. Come here. Doctor.
Now Richard Steele.
Well, there's a cut.
Say, doctor, to look at the cut on the right eye of Sharmba.
There's a cut alongside the right eye, and it must be a bad one.
Okay.
He asked Mitchell if it was a cut, and Mitchell said yes, whatever that means.
And you heard Steele indicating that it was an accidental headbutt which caused the cut.
It's on the upper right side of the right eye. Does not look very bad. Isn't bleeding at this point.
Just above the brow.
Mitchell is going to have to box now, because once those guys start smelling that blood, when they were tired, they're getting more energy.
Cutman in Sharmba Mitchell's corner is a gentleman named Jeff Germosha. We'll get a chance to see Jeff Germosha go to work when Sharmba goes back to his corner between rounds. Meanwhile, a long way to go in this round.
Break.
That really disturbs a classy boxer. Once he gets cut, it shakes him. That's the reason they're boxers, so they don't get cut.
Punch to get out of there. Break.
Sharmba told us that he has never been seriously cut before. Now, sometimes fighters forget. A guy who's been in 47 fights, as Sharmba Mitchell has as a professional, logic tells you somewhere along the way he probably had a nick or a scratch.
Well, especially as a southpaw fighting conventional fighters, heads do tend to clash. I mean, even now, as they're in there, you can see Ortiz's head rubbing right up against the area where the cut is.
Yeah.
Not intentionally, though. It's just that they're matching up like that because one foot is in front where the other foot should not be. Good jab.
Mitchell getting aggressive, trying to make hay while the sun shines, and a booming left hand knocked Ortiz back into the ropes. Mitchell committing to his punches down the stretch in round 6 as the blood begins to flow again over his right eye.
Time.
Jeff Germosha has the pressure on Mitchell's right eye before Mitchell can even get his butt onto the stool.
You got the boxing. You got the boxing, baby. Keep your hands on head movement and get him to the main. He's desperate, not you. Let him come running here, running to something. You got to move around. Move that head. Nobody but you going straight back. Go around. You don't get nobody at all. Hey, what's your combinations, man?
Nice and easy, breathe. I'll take care of this cup.
You got it wet?
Nothing to it.
What ice bucket? What ice bucket?
Nice and easy.
Put your legs
Don't
up.
move him.
Lean back.
Don't move him.
Relax, relax, relax. Stay calm, stay relaxed. You're working beautiful.
Here's how it happened. Right there. And later in the round, that good right hand from Ortiz, one of his best punches of the fight, as Mitchell tried to gather himself after realizing there was some blood dripping down the right side of his face.
Yeah, so you got mucho swelling under and around the left eye of Elio Ortiz. A big gash over the right eyebrow of Sharmba Mitchell. Harold Letterman, how'd you score it halfway through
Jim,
the
I got it 6-0, 60-53. Sharmba Mitchell. He's ahead by 7 points on my card after only 6 rounds. The reason being, he gets an extra point for the knockout. Jim, I got to point out, if the fight is stopped because of the cut over Sharmba Mitchell's eye, we go to the scorecards. If that cut gets worse, you know, we go to the scorecards because Steele said that it was caused by a headbutt.
And the thing about a good boxer, you've never been cut before. You panic and you start thinking, I better finish this right quick. And then it opens you up to even be cut more so. So Mitchell may be thinking he better end this fight. If he has the energy, he'll try for a knockout. Where the other fighters who've been cut before have the tendency to sit there and let the corner cut man work on the cut and get them ready for the next round.
And you heard the cut man, Jeff Germosha, trying to reassure Mitchell, I'll take care of this. Don't you worry about it. And now a low blow.
That's been going on all night.
Yeah. Mitchell could have taken longer to recover from that low blow, but decided he was ready to keep going.
Well, the referee demanded it. He said, come on, let's go. Obey my rules at all times. That's what they tell you.
Look, you can't hold him down, okay? Let's go. Come on, protect yourself, man.
I didn't think Ortiz was holding him down. I just thought Mitchell fell off balance, and he was taking advantage of it.
Let him go, let him go.
Mitchell's legs are just a bit weak about now.
Step back, step back.
Why would that be?
All this pushing and shoving of the bigger man, and it starts getting your legs.
George, you call Ortiz the bigger man, and face to face, yeah, it looks like his frame is bigger, but they both weighed in at 139.5, and in theory they both enter the ring extremely close to each other in weight. Does it really make that big a difference?
Yeah, you look at the thinner legs, and up top is where Ortiz has all his weight. So when he leans forward, the legs that he has are not on it. It's the up top, the tallness. From the waist up, he's bigger and heavier.
Good right hand by Ortiz again.
Yep. Quick right hand
Sharmba has the
and a couple more quick right hands by Ortiz as Steele tries to break them apart.
Don't hold him.
So far, Sharmba doesn't look overly concerned about the cut. I don't think it's changed much of what he's doing. And
All right, break. Step back.
And now Mitchell wincing as he goes back to his corner, and there's a live look at Lennox Lewis, who 2 minutes ago arrived out in the parking lot and now makes his way toward his dressing room. Oh, about 50, 60 feet down the hallway from where Evander Holyfield will be dressing. Interestingly, both dressing rooms are festooned with University of Nevada, Las Vegas basketball slogans and mottos, and one of them is, if you don't defend, you die. Are you ready to die tonight? Certainly Lewis defended well in New York. Some fans who want a more exciting fight might hope that he doesn't defend quite as well here.
You get him inside, time up. You understand what I'm saying? Don't worry about that. Yeah, you know, we're winning. You got to show. Now, he the desperate one, babe. Okay, babe. He desperate.
CompuBox numbers through round 7. Sharmba Mitchell with a 42-punch edge in landed punches, landing at a higher percentage than Ortiz.
Mitchell starts off with a feint, then throws his right jab. He always connects.
Round 8 of a scheduled 12. Sharmba Mitchell in the black trunks, his 140-pound world championship at stake against Elio Ortiz from Falcon, Venezuela, fighting in the United States for the first time in his career. Hard right hand again by Ortiz, who is beginning to find Mitchell much more frequently with his right. George?
Left-right combination. He did it real slow. Left and then a right. There's the weakness of the legs again.
I didn't. What is Richard Steele saying? I didn't see Ortiz push him down. Did you?
It looks as though when you put your hand on his back that he's pulling him down, but he's falling down.
Up. Low blow by Mitchell. In fact, I think the last Mitchell trip to the floor could conceivably have been called a knockdown because it could have been a delayed reaction to one of Ortiz's hard right hands. Harold Letterman disagrees with me. Harold, you want to weigh in with your opinion on all this pushing and stuff?
Jim, there's no question that the referee was right. Elio Ortiz was leaning on the back of Sharmba Mitchell's head. He shoved him down. There's absolutely no question. He was just leaning on him and pushed him down. It definitely was a push down. Richard Steele, 100% correct. Both times.
I thought Mitchell was down around Ortiz's knees before there was a push.
Wait. Time.
Yeah, at this point, you don't have to put your hand on his shoulder and Mitchell goes down.
Now, Steele wants Sharmba to go to a neutral corner.
1 point. 1 point. 1 point. You got to watch your head.
A deduction against Ortiz for headbutts. If the Letterman scorecard is anywhere near in sync with the scorecards of the 3 official judges, then Ortiz is already in that territory where he needs a knockout to win the fight.
Now, as you can see, Mitchell is still staggering in the legs, and no one is holding him, nor pushing him.
And Elio Ortiz has never scored a knockout past the 5th round in his 18 wins and 21 fights coming in. But he's a brave fighter who keeps on working in there. Mitchell's had most of the better of it. Ortiz just doesn't quit.
Good straight left by Mitchell.
And a solid right, and another right, and Mitchell's trying to finish it right here.
Right.
Ortiz grabbing and holding to stop the action. Sharmba Mitchell was landing flush with solid shots.
There again, Mitchell's falling forward about the fall.
Good body shot by Ortiz, stopping Mitchell's momentum.
All of the distance has been closed in the fight now. Everybody's right there. You don't have to look for either guy.
For an easy fight, Mitchell looks like he's been in a war. Might have won every round or all rounds but one, and looks a little bit battered and bruised.
How you doing? You okay? That guy's dying. He's dying. You're getting him. Do you hear me? You gotta start hitting him. The 9th round. You gotta win this round. You gotta knock him out right here.
You gotta protect yourself, man. You gotta protect yourself. You gotta protect yourself.
Wipe his mouth in the count.
You
working beautiful, baby. All you gotta do move your head.
Just when it looked after the cut along his eye that Mitchell might be willing to settle just to win a decision, he jumps on Ortiz in the corner here when he sees an opportunity, lands a terrific flurry, that right hand being the biggest of the punches.
And you heard the men in Ortiz's corner trying to convince their fighter that Mitchell is slowing down and that he's going to be able to come on in the late rounds, and Sharmba comes out firing to try to take any such notion out of Ortiz's head.
And he did something wise. Not only did he go to the head good, went right to the side with a good straight right around the side, left to the side of Ortiz.
Don't hold him, let him go.
Start the round by hitting him once to the head and once to the body just to remind him where he's been.
Step back.
Let's go, Sharp, let's go get it. Show him your water, man.
Blood flowing from the mouth now of Sharmba Mitchell. So he's cut above the eye. He has blood flowing out of his mouth. But, as Larry points out, he may well have won every round. And with a knockdown in the first round and a penalty point deducted from Ortiz in the 8th, you suspect that Sharmba is well ahead and that Ortiz needs a knockout.
Your hands are free, work.
These are guys who tried themselves on giving all each round.
Worker, get out.
Mitchell's legs at this point, they're all gone. No more bouncing, jumping in and out. Everything is close.
Hard punches to the body and the head by Mitchell.
He can only pay the price because you don't jump in the ring dancing and jumping and moving and then starting slugging like that. He's out there living in.
The promotional patches on Ortiz's trunks are beginning to come loose and flap in the breeze.
Ooh,
hard right to the
the
body by
side.
Mitchell.
And that hurt. My goodness, did that hurt.
Break. Let him up.
So you suspect Sharmba has a cut in his mouth, George?
Yep.
Thus the flow of blood.
Work inside, your hands are free.
Inside the lip, top lip, bottom lip.
Bothersome, huh?
It's just something you have to live with.
Break.
In a business where always something.
Don't hold him.
Remember when Meldrick Taylor was taken to the hospital after his near win over Julio Cesar Chavez several years ago. A fight that Richard Steele stopped with 2 seconds to go after Chavez knocked Taylor down. And Taylor had swallowed so much of his own blood that he had to be pumped. Woo! Hard right hand by Mitchell and a hard left up top as Sharmba continues to punish Ortiz and look to finish the fight.
What's good about it, he was hurting him in the side. Ortiz is turned back into the southpaw position, trying to avoid his left side being exposed like that.
But as you point out, because Mitchell no longer has the legs to bounce and move, every time he elects to trade with Ortiz, he's giving Ortiz chances to land the counters.
To get him back.
Yep. Still to come. Prior to the heavyweight championship fight between Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield, world cruiserweight champion Fabrice Tiozzo defends his title against Ken Murphy. Kenny Murphy from Chicago, younger brother of former world cruiserweight titleist Leroy Murphy. Leroy Murphy would have been the captain of the 1980 American Olympic boxing team.
Come out,
That team had been allowed to go to Moscow.
Come on, legs of the blood, man.
Still working hard despite his lead. Terrific right hand body shot. And nice combination on the ropes. It's almost as if Mitchell feels that this guy has given him too much trouble, made him shed too much blood, and he's not going to take the easy way out and just box these late rounds.
Watch your head break.
I thought that's strange that the referee was able to move and take Vaseline away from the cut of Mitchell. He doesn't have on any gloves. What kind of gloves are those? Rubber gloves?
Yes. Latex gloves. Yeah. That is surprising. Only in New Jersey are they absolutely required, I believe, to wear latex gloves. Although they do wear them in lots of other places, it's probably up to the individual referee in many jurisdictions. Harold Letterman, how do you have this fight scored through 9?
Jim, 1 point. Because of the age problem, it's mandatory to a number of places, including New York. Anyway, 8 rounds to 1, 89 to 80, Sharmba Mitchell. You know, up until the 8th round, I thought Sharmba Mitchell was boxing beautifully, won virtually every round. The only round they gave Ortiz was the 7th. Then all of a sudden, in the 9th round, he became the puncher, and boy, did he land some shots when he took Ortiz up on a rope. So Sharmba Mitchell really, really big.
So Harold, you're saying the gloves are mandatory in New Jersey, New York, and other places?
Oh yeah, because of the age problem. Ever since the Tommy Morrison thing, those gloves have become mandatory virtually all over the place.
But not here.
You know, I'd have to check with Mark Ratner on that. I don't know. Something may have happened with Richard Steele's gloves and he took them off, but be as it may, they're mandatory in an awful lot of states.
All right, midway through the 10th round, and the action continues between Elio Ortiz of Venezuela and Sharmba Mitchell of Tacoma Park, Maryland.
Mitchell has got bounce back in his feet, but doesn't have any confidence in it. He's able to be caught over top.
Let's go.
If you're going to bounce and you're the shorter, you better bounce out of the way and back in the way.
Break. Let him go. Come on, protect yourself at all times.
Now the hotel promotional patch on Ortiz's trunks has come completely loose at one end. And his WBA patch is drifting south as well.
He's just coming apart all over.
Richard Steele is doing a good job. You know, he's shouting out commands, but he's staying out of the way of these guys.
Don't hold him. Work inside or get out. Break. Step back.
He gives them a chance to go by his command. That's what I like to see the referees do. Stay out of the boxing matches.
Break.
As you look down the road toward Lewis and Holyfield, and consider that many in the sport believe the number 3 heavyweight, the heir apparent for the title, is 6'7" former football and basketball player Michael Grant. It was Richard Steele who, upon meeting Grant here in November 7 years ago at the time of Holyfield Bow 1, encouraged Grant to become a boxer.
Yes, and it's my understanding that his wife still has a share in Grant's future should he become a champion.
Which means we probably won't see Richard refereeing any of his fights.
Doubtful.
You all right, baby.
All you got to do now is watch him.
Okay.
Norm, I need to get a little on here.
You okay?
The next round gonna be out, baby. We're gonna just move around and box him in and out.
Still scoring, still fighting hard. A good performance by a good champion.
He hits and moves right out of the way.
Championship rounds coming up. Sharmba Mitchell, the apparent leader through 10, defending his 140-pound world championship against Elio Ortiz. And now Mitchell bouncing and moving again. So-called second wind to George?
No, I don't think so. I think he's putting up a big front for the first couple of maybe 1 minute of the round.
Gotcha.
Then it's going to slow right back, and Ortiz got to get it in and get it.
Hard right hand shot by Ortiz hurt Mitchell.
Ortiz can pull this thing off if he just gets on in there and start throwing every punch.
And because of that hard right hand, now the blood starts flowing again from inside the mouth of Mitchell. That's got to be awfully distracting to the fight.
Yeah, Ortiz has got to take some chances.
Break. Don't hold him. Don't hold him.
George, you always think the loser has a chance in the last few rounds.
That's right, because he's got the power.
Come on, punch to get out of there.
Mitchell has shown, Ortiz has shown throughout the fight that he can land one good hard shot. And you can see
the
Mitchell
beauty of George, Larry. He understands that hope springs eternal in the boxing breast.
Break.
And Mitchell, legs are gone. He's spitting out blood. All the things that can aid a guy like Ortiz in getting in a good shot. And if he knocks him down, he's not going to get up.
Watch your head. Watch your head.
You know, next year, the year after, people will look at the record and say, well, he beat some guy from South America, beat him easily, one-sided fight. And here while we're watching, we're just seeing how easy it is with blood pouring out of several apertures.
Every time Ortiz launches a good attack, Mitchell hits him with a good shot himself.
As some fans enter and file into the ringside seats, they must look at the two fighters in the ring and say, wow, this must be a rousing fight. They both look all busted up. Mitchell may have won every round. It's not inconceivable.
No, I think that Ortiz did get one round, Jim, the seventh. But Mitchell just hasn't let him in the fight.
Mitchell is surviving now in skills.
Mitchell must wonder
to maneuver.
What's a hard fight like?
Oh, he's at him.
This is when you got to have that conditioning. You can't think about it. It just has to be there.
Mitchell had a title defense earlier this year, April 24, in Washington against his own good friend, Reggie Green. Some ringside observers felt as though Green deserved the decision in that one. Mitchell got it and held on to his title.
It's about 3/4 of an hour since Mitchell dropped Ortiz on the canvas, and here we still are.
You got to get nasty. It's the last round, man. This is the last round.
Hold still. Don't move him. Let me get this.
You got a close fight, okay?
Hey,
Take your hand for 1 second.
This is the last round. You got to go get him.
The
Go
cut man
inside,
has done
go
a
to the
good
body,
job with
go to the
Mitchell
body,
to
make
this
him
point.
tired.
Now the cut is open
You got to
again.
make him tired. He's getting weak. He's getting weak.
Okay, this is your last one. Relax, babe. Take your time and box him and just get it on this round. You got the way he coming at you, babe. Listen, babe, he coming off here, babe, but just stand, give him hit.
This is the last round. You got to go get him right now. Come on. You got to go after him right here. This is the last round. Come on, hit him hard. Hit him hard. Let's go.
Ortiz took a $2,000 loan from his manager to place a bet on himself at 4-1, and he's still trying to win it.
The referee doesn't understand about the English problem.
Yeah, I started to say Ortiz doesn't speak English, so when Steele says touch gloves to him, he's not sure what he's saying. In round 11, incidentally, by CompuBox numbers, Ortiz landed 20 punches to only 8 for Mitchell. So there's another round that Ortiz may well have won on the scorecards. And George,
good hook.
And a left hook. A right and a left. Ortiz landing twice. I was just getting ready to say, George, if you Sharmba Mitchell, you scored a knockdown in the first round. Your opponent has been subjected to a point deduction. You've won most of the other rounds. Is this an appropriate, you're bleeding from above the eye and the mouth. Is this an appropriate time to get on your bicycle?
If your bicycles are there, and I don't think his leg.
Yeah. So you think he's going to have to fight it out?
Get the pump
He's
out.
going to have to get it. He's going to have to hang in there now because he cannot move backwards.
Punch it, get out of there. Punch it, get out. Don't hold it, son, man.
What a display of determination by Elio Ortiz. In against a more skilled fighter and working minute to minute, round by round, an uphill fight all the way, trying to find a way to make an impression in the fight. And he's had his moments, and he deserved them.
Mitchell grabs the rope and holds on, and the referee doesn't seem to see that.
Yeah. I guess I'm going to recommend that all underdogs bet on themselves.
Come on, work.
Well, it's certainly been a strong stimulus for him.
He's fighting for money.
His own. Hard right hand by Ortiz. Sharmba Mitchell hanging on here in the 12th round of what has been a tough passage.
Come on, don't hold him. Work your way out.
Might be a lopsided decision, but you kind of suspect Sharmba isn't going to remember it that way.
Come on, pull your arm back.
Mitchell is going for one last burst of, I'm going to get you.
Another flurry to remind the judges and fans at ringside and his own followers and supporters exactly who he is. Sharmba Mitchell, longtime aspiring star in the sport, world champion at 140 pounds, defending his title here for the fourth time, or the third time, I should say, after having won it from Khalid Railu in a big upset in Paris, France, October of 1998.
Well, Ortiz can take satisfaction from knowing he went 12 rounds with a good, determined fighter. And when he looked in the champion's face, you could see that he busted him up.
Well, in case you just joined us, that big cut over the right eye of Sharmba Mitchell came from a butt, and the swelling around and under the left eye of Ortiz came from punches. That should indicate to you where the decision is likely to go.
Relax.
Oh, what a cut.
Hands on, baby. You look beautiful. You look beautiful.
He's okay. Get his gloves off him.
So who got the scissors? Who got the scissors?
Says he looks beautiful, huh?
Sharmba Mitchell looking for his 46th win against only 2 defeats.
Okay.
It looks like he'll be needing a little bit of cosmetic surgery. Need a good long rest before he starts going back to work next year.
I hope Ortiz's manager doesn't make him pay the $2,000 back. Harold, how did you have this one scored through 12?
10 rounds to 2, 118, 108, Sharmba Mitchell. I thought he was terrific. I'll tell you, the kid can box, he moves, good hand speed, very, very quick. Takes Ortiz up on the ropes and bangs him around. And even when he gets cut, it doesn't stop him. He keeps coming. This kid is a terrific champion. I'm very impressed with Sharmba Mitchell. I thought he won it by 10 points.
Zab Judah is here at ringside to watch the fight. I think we'd love to see Zab Judah against Sharmba Mitchell.
Well, Zab Judah is a mandatory for one of the other belts, so that's down the road a bit. He's also a southpaw, fights aggressively.
And let's go to ring announcer Jimmy Lennon Jr. for the official particulars on this decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Dave Moretti, scores the bout 114 to 112. Judge Dalby Shirley sees it 118 to 108. And Jose Laurino scores the bout 119 to 109. All 3 in favor of the winner. And still, WBA Super Lightweight World Champion, Sharmba Mitchell.
One close, 2 lopsided. Mitchell the winner by unanimous decision. Nick Charles standing by with Evander Holyfield. Take it away, Nick.
Okay, with the WBA and IBF heavyweight champion, Evander Holyfield. Evander, after the first fight, you told us that your stomach had ached, your legs had cramped, and you felt lethargic. How do you feel? How fit and ready to fire are you now, about an hour away from fighting this guy again?
Well, I'm great. Not about the feelings, what I'm going to do once I get in the ring.
What'd you have to eat?
I had steak and salad.
How do you plan on making this an inside fight with Lennox Lewis tonight?
Well, I'm not planning on making it anything. I would be led by the Holy Spirit. Go out there, you know, and what happened will happen, and it would be great.
But heavyweights, to win these belts, you got to impose your will on the other guy. Will you go to the body more with him?
Well, it's hard to say. Like I said, you know, I'm led by the Holy Spirit, and I'm sure that it may be a little everything.
Evander, you're a 37-year-old underdog. How anxious, sitting here right now, are you to prove the world wrong again?
Well, you know, I'm not anxious. I just know what's going to happen, and I go out there and do it in a great way and give the Lord the glory for it.
Evander, you vowed to bring more to the table this time. What are we about to see?
Well, it's going to be something great. I am bringing a lot to the table this time.
In terms of a decision, can you win a decision against this guy?
Well, I would win regardless of whichever way I knockout decision. I guess I ain't them 2 ways you can win. I guess I 3, somebody gets disqualified, but regardless, sure, I will win.
Determined to knock him out?
Well, the fact is that, you know, I will win, and whatever way it comes, you know, is pleasing.
With heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield. Let's go back to you, JB.
All right, Nick, thank you very much. And again, that calm demeanor, reminiscent of the demeanor that he displayed, that is, when he fought Mike Tyson. And certainly he seems to be quite confident as he gets prepared for the main event that will be coming up about 11:30 p.m. Eastern time. the main event between Evander Holyfield and Lennox Lewis. And as you listen to those answers that he gave Nick Charles, no excuses this time. He said he is in good shape, and there is Lennox Lewis on the right-hand side. Lennox, for his part, feels that fear and doubt will overtake Holyfield, thinking that Holyfield knew that Lennox toyed with him the last time they fought.